Ramadhan, the time of spiritual reflection and worship, a time of patience, humility, self-discipline, and submissiveness to God. During the holy month, Radio Sultanate of Oman 90.4 FM takes you on a journey from spiritual reflection and enlightenment to family entertainment. Join us all day and all night long here on the Nation Station. Life is a journey, and through this journey we come across all challenges. These challenges makes us better human beings. We live for the pleasure of serving others and feeling the guidance of the Creator. Join us and explore the opportunities to overcome your difficulties this Ramadan here on the Nation Station.
You lift me up high, you spread my wings and fly me to the sky. I feel so alive, it's like my soul thrives in your light. But how I wish you'd be here with me all year around.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings be upon you all. Welcome to your Ramadan radio program, Life as It Is. This is Mayya Al Said along with Hatim Al Abd Salam. Assalamu alaikum Hatim.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Mayya. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
It seems like you're under the weather today.
Yes, I was just about to say excuse me for my voice today. I am suffering from a sore throat, but I couldn't and I wouldn't miss being on air today.
You must have had ice cream mama last night. That's why. Yeah, we always tell you not to eat cold stuff. But
and I should listen.
Yeah, you should listen. So, what are we talking about today?
First of all, before we talk, I just want to remind our listeners that they are with us, or we are with them, more like it, from 1 to 2:30, and this is a live program. They can call us on 24602-058, 24602-058. Now you can talk.
Okay, today's topic is parenthood, which is a very common topic, which is you can go into details, you can go into specifics, you can talk about parenthood in general, and it's just an ocean. And when we sat and discussed the points that we wanted to cover, we started off with 5 points and ended up today with like 20. So bear with us, and inshallah we'll take you through the journey.
And just to, before we get into the points, we did touch upon parenting when we discussed single parents a couple of, I think was it a couple of weeks ago?
The first week of Ramadan.
First week, mashallah. Speaking of that, do you realize this is our last week?
Yes, Eid's on the way.
Indeed.
And people are busy shopping. And the time has passed by so fast.
It has, subhanallah.
And this is our last week, dear listeners. I hope you're going to miss us. And we are going to miss you as well.
Indeed.
We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this deed from us. And if we have benefited all of you, then we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless it. And if we have wronged you in any way or said anything that offended anyone, then we are extremely sorry and we ask for your forgiveness.
So, as I was saying, that we did touch upon this in the first week of Ramadan, but because we know it's such an important issue, being a parent is not an easy thing, and the joys of that is, to raise children, but how we raise them is important, and so this is what this episode is all about.
Yes. The first point that we have to discuss about today is characteristics of good parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how do you label yourself that you are a good parent? Is there a particular parameter for you to gauge yourself whether you're a good parent or you're a bad parent or you're a normal parent? So what ideas do you have about this, Mayya?
I think to begin with, we are all different. Although we are humans, we have different personalities, different perspective on life, different views, and everything. And I think to be good parents, as you said, we have to have some sort of not like rules, but characteristics of what makes a good parent. What is a good parent? What's a good parent to me might not be what is a good parent to you. So that is important that we do talk about this and get the feedback of our listeners on what makes a good parent.
I think when it comes to being a good parent, first of all, you should be very aware of the responsibilities and the duties and the rights of you being as a parent. Once you identify these, and then you have a platform to start. So you know, these are my responsibilities and my duties. Have I fulfilled them or not? But if you're not aware of if you're not really aware of what is your duties and responsibilities, you'll just be walking in the dark. And you cannot measure whether you're good or bad.
So then how do I measure, and how does one know what is a characteristic of a good parent?
It starts from the very beginning. Once you get married, you sit with your wife or your spouse, and then you discuss about the children. Yeah, when we have our first child, okay, what is our responsibility towards this child? Let's say, for example, the responsibility of nurturing this child, the responsibility of protecting this child, the responsibility of providing good education for this child, the responsibility of making sure they don't deviate from the rules and the upbringing that we were brought up. So you have these, you write them down, for example, and then once you are blessed with a child, you see, have you fulfilled the first one, nurturing?
But Hatem, it's all well and nice to say this, but are these actually things that people do? I don't recall sitting down and going through this. Yani, when we were first, it's just, something that happens. And I think it's very important that people sit, the parents sit together.
You know what happens? It's a mind map in your mind. The way you are raised, those are the criteria, the responsibilities that you have. They're already there without putting it on paper. They're already there. And then it's a learning cycle. So once the first child, if you notice, it's always an experiment.
It's the test baby.
Yeah. And then the next one, you're even better. Now you know how it feels. You know the reaction of the child. You know what to do, what not to do. And the third one then and so forth.
But then just to stop and say, for example, you said it's how you were brought up. But then here we're talking about two different people who get married, who get to know each other. So they're two different upbringings. So that is why I think it's essential that, as you said, that people, the husband and wife should sit down and think about the future of the children, how they want to be good parents, and map down these characteristics themselves, between themselves.
Well, actually, if you see, Mayya, when you get married, the minimum that you can stay and then have a child is, let's say, 9 months, for example. So 9 months is sufficient time for you and your wife to be aligned on the same page.
But there's some, saying 9 months, but there's some simple things like the name of the baby. It has not been decided. It takes them a while. So even this, just naming the child, can get into a conflict. So
let me tell you about naming. Everything comes in time. I remember when I got married, I had a long list of names, and I did not name my first daughter with any of the names that I had on the list.
Okay.
Simply just because before she was born, we kept a name, and then someone else in the relative got a daughter before us and then gave the name. So and then
you decided
we changed our
not
mind.
to name.
So you let things happen automatically.
Okay.
You let things happen automatically, and then that's how things are. So
Okay.
I don't think you're going to have a dispute and war and missiles with your wife because of the name. So it will happen. You can say, okay, the firstborn I will name them, and the secondborn, it's your turn.
Although we're deviating a bit from the topic, let's talk about the characteristics. In your opinion,
yes,
who or what are the characteristics of a good parent? And before you answer, I want to remind our callers that you can call us, and this is your program Life as It Is. We're talking about parenthood today, and you can call us on 24602-058. I'll repeat that, 24602-058.
I would split into two things. Yeah, the first thing is the physical needs of the child: food, clothing, shelter, security. Yeah, that is the first category of physical things that you should provide as a parent to be a good parent. The second category is education, religion, morals, and love.
Okay.
4. Okay. So now you can measure yourself. You can how do you say? You can look at your performance in terms of your children, whether you have fulfilled these 8 needs, which are 4 physical and 4 mental and spiritual, or not. If you have done one side and left the other, the child will grow and it will affect them. If you've done the other way around, it's also affecting. So you need to have a balance.
And I want to say that being a parent is one of the most difficult jobs that we have. And if, for example, we do realize that we're failing in one aspect, it's not too late to make them better, change it. Okay, realize there's something wrong or that you are lacking in a particular area of being a parent, then you can always ask and educate yourself and how to be better.
Yes. So are we done with this?
We're done with this.
Okay. The next point says educate, not dictate. What is meant by this, Mayya?
By this, I mean is when you take, for example, I remember in the show of The Art of Living, when Dr. Wa'il was talking about prayers and how we teach children how to pray. You do not dictate, this is what you're supposed to do. Do this. You're supposed to educate them as to why we are doing this. It's because of this, to educate them so they understand why they're doing it. They're not just following orders. And this not only applies in prayers, it applies in everything that we do. And we have a call. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, brother?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. How is this, brother? Awesome.
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Alhamdulillah.
I'm Mukhtar Ali speaking.
Mr. Mukhtar, it's always an honor to hear from you.
Thank you very much.
Can you please raise your voice a little bit so that we can hear you?
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, today's topic is yet again a very interesting and very important topic you are discussing.
Thank you very much. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say that the way you disagree with Mr. Hatem is a good way. I mean, you never agree on every point for the sake of argument. But when you disagree, it really opens the topic more.
Okay, thank you. So I'll continue disagreeing with him then.
And second thing I want to add is regarding the parental responsibility. There is an ayah in Surah Al-Luqman.
Oh, we lost the call.
Please call us again and finish that, Mukhtar. So I was saying about educate, not dictate. And just before I move on, I'll remind our callers, if you just joined us, this is Life as It Is. We're discussing parenthood. You are welcome to call us on 24602-058. I'll repeat that, 24602-058.
I think, Mayya, in the past, this used to work to some extent, where parents used to dictate, and children follow.
Yeah.
Maybe out of fear, maybe out of respect, Allahu Alam. But with this generation now that we have, it doesn't work. Yeah, you cannot dictate them what to do.
But can we blame them? Because think of yourself when you're told to do something. Do you not ask why? Why am I doing this? You want to understand as to why you're doing it. And if you understand, then you'll be convinced and you will actually do it.
Yes. And I think maybe even in the past, you wanted to know why, but maybe you thought that it's not appropriate
to ask.
Or maybe you had the fear to ask, or maybe you thought that I should just follow, and then maybe later on I can find out why am I doing this. Yeah. So both, we don't say that one method is better than the other, but we're talking about different generations and different needs for each generation.
Exactly. Which brings us to our next point.
Yes, the next point says children will make mistakes.
Okay. Yes, they will make mistakes.
They will the same way that parents make mistakes, we also have to give the opportunity to our children to make mistakes. So we should not be very hard on them, and we should not expect them to be angels.
Yes.
Yeah, they will always fall into mistakes, and that's the learning cycle for them through these mistakes. Because when your child makes a mistake, you get the opportunity to talk to them and open a subject. I remember my dad used to do this to us. Whenever we fall into a mistake, then it's lecture time. Yeah, so you sit there for 2 hours and you listen to the lecture and you make sure you understand every single word that he says. So please be positive when your children make mistakes and take it as an opportunity to go and talk to them about this mistake.
Also, speaking of mistakes, it's not only reflected on children. We will make mistakes as parents, and that is okay. As long as we realize what is the mistake and how it impacted the child, and to know not to do that again. So don't beat yourself up. We're humans, we make mistakes, but as Hatem said, making mistakes is part of our learning.
Yes, well said, Mayya.
Thank you.
The next point says being stubborn as a kid. So being stubborn as a kid, maybe some people would be affected by stubborn kids. Yeah, and this is something very common. Some parents resolve to physical punishment because of their child being stubborn. Some of them ignore their children. Some of them just can't handle it anymore.
But it is important to understand why the child is being stubborn. The child is being stubborn because they think they know and they want to prove to you that they're old enough to make decisions. And it usually starts when they're 2. That's why they're called terrible 2s.
So you've been reading, Mayya?
No, I haven't been reading. This is experience.
Okay. Yes, tell us more about that.
So that's why it's terrible 2s, because they throw tantrums if things don't go their way. And so, of course, that puts the parent in a very difficult and awkward situation, because usually these tantrums happen in public. And but yeah, if we understand why they're being stubborn, and again, to speak to them and make them understand why their way can't work and why it has to work the way we want it as parents, then maybe we will lessen this frustration and, as you said, discipline. And I think we should talk about disciplining that if we finished from this point. Do you agree we finished? Because I know callers have been saying that we tend to move on from topic to topic, point to point, without actually finishing it. So disciplining a child, although it's usually physical, which is a shame, and that's because the parent kind of just loses it and takes it out on the child. And that's not always the best way. It's not the way to discipline. What are your thoughts on disciplining children?
I think I have mixed feelings, because you would have people with the argument that says that in the past that was the only way to discipline, or maybe one of the ways to discipline, and it worked. That's why you have like a good generation or a successful generation. And some of them would say that I have gone through all the means, and this is my last resort is to punish them or physically punish them. Because I've tried all the means and all the ways. So I think that raising your children is a process. It will not take 1 day or 2 days. Yeah, even the prophets themselves, like Prophet Noah and Prophet Jacob, they all went through this calamity of their children being the children who go astray. Yeah, so they did not resolve into punishing. They were patient, and they know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained this. You as a parent, you try your level best in raising them, in nurturing them, in guiding them, but then at the end of the day, you cannot guarantee that you'll have perfect kids the exact way that you planned.
Okay, before I give my feedback, I'd like to remind our callers that you're tuned in to Life as It Is on 90.4. We're here until 2:30. We're discussing parenthood. We'd really like you to join in on our discussion on parenthood today, and you can do so by calling 24602-058, 24602-058. My thoughts on disciplining physically is that you create a fear in the child. And when you create fear in the child, then the child will start hiding things from you. And you don't want to create that relationship with your child. You want your child to come to you to discuss, even if they've done something wrong. You want them to be open with you, comfortable enough, and know that even if they've made a mistake, as I said, us adults, we make mistakes as well. We don't have somebody saying, punishing us or making us feel guilty, but we know inside that this is not right. So therefore we should give the comfort to the child that to know, okay, you've done something wrong, come tell me about it, and we can discuss on how to make it better.
What if the child continuously does it and you have tried all the peaceful means and it doesn't work? Can you at least as a last result
Hatem, you're not going to get me on air saying that hitting is a form that I agree with. agree with. I personally don't. I'm a parent of 2 girls. I don't say that sometimes, yes, out of anger, as I said before, that it does happen. But then I really regret it, and I sometimes end up crying because that's not the parent I want to be. I want to be a parent that discusses, that talks. These children are not just children; they're little adults, and so we are shaping them. If we try and
what about a small pinch? No, not even a small pinch.
Call us and tell us what you think about this. So yeah, this is my way. I don't know if it is the best way, but this is the way I choose, and I have to deal with the consequences that come with that.
Okay, I think when it comes to punishing, it depends on the child. Yeah, like for example, my kids at home, if I just look at them, then it's even worse than beating them. So,
it's that look you give them.
It's the look. You just give them the look. So I think if there are other means and ways to do this, then some kids feel that if you deprive them of their gadgets, for example, or you deprive them from going to the garden, then it's painful.
Exactly.
They'd rather be beaten than being deprived of that. So I think as a parent, you should choose what is good for your child. We have a call. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Brother Hatim and Mayya, this is Shaheen with you.
Sister Shaheen, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, fine, thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Tell us what your thoughts on the topic, Sister Shaheen.
Well, the topic is really very wide, very vast. It might not be we might not be able to cover up many points, but I would just spend a minute or two to tell you a very small but a very simple definition of good parent.
Okay.
I'm a parent of 2 kids myself, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
2 teenage boys. And as one may put it, unless a parent does not do or know his duties and responsibilities properly, then I don't think he would even end up getting his or her rights. So how does a parent get to know his duties and responsibilities? Well, I think it is with education, first from our own religion, and another from being aware on a secular basis to know what a good parent is. Once the child gets to know that the parent is doing his or her duties in whatever little sphere that child is in, at whatever age he or she is in, when the child gets to know this as he is growing up, then he definitely is going to respect and love the parent for what he or she is. And the best form of continuous charity that as we parents can leave behind after our death is good children. And these good children, inshallah, when they do dua for a dead parent, then that's the best form of sadaqah jariyah, that is a continuous charity that we may leave behind. So the question might arise again as to what would define someone as a good parent. And I would like to stress here again is to have a proper education, both in terms of Islam as well as a secular one. So when a parent has these principles laid down very clearly and tries his utmost to perform his duties, then rights will automatically come in, and nobody is going to question the parent whenever he or she is exercising those rights.
Thank you very much, Sister Shaheen. Well said, and Jazakallah khairan. Please.
We always value your contribution, Sister Shaheen, on all programs. Thank you very much for your participation.
Keep on calling us.
Thank you. Welcome.
Shukran. Okay, the next point is importance of communication.
Indeed. I think importance of communication is very important. And as I said, children are little adults, and it starts when they're very young, the way we speak to them. I remember Dr. Alami on The Art of Living talked about when you speak to your child, you shouldn't be speak to them in baby language like bibi, goo, goo, gaga stuff. You should actually speak to them so they grow up to understand and speak properly. And then families who speak to their children like that, they're surprised at the age of 2, the child still can't speak proper language because they haven't been spoken to in a proper language. So how do they think that the child will actually be able to speak properly? So the importance of communication starts right at the beginning. And what do you think?
I look at it in a very different way. I look at it as to give clear instructions. The point that you mentioned is very valid, but on another scale is that once our kids start growing up a little bit, then we demand things from them. So we don't tend to make our instructions clear. And then we punish them for not doing it because we have not provided them with the right channels of communication.
So this will go back to educate, not dictate.
Yes. So for example, if you're a parent who likes order in the house, and then you come into the house, you see, let's say the shoes are all over the place. Yeah. You think that I would assume the kids know that I love order and everything should be put into place. So you'd punish your children because the shoes are not in place, but you have not actually instructed them clearly, telling them that this is what I want. So without communicating to them, telling them what do you really want and why do you want it this way, then you can't blame them for not doing it. And don't be hesitant to inform them once, twice, thrice, because it's a learning cycle. And the other thing is that when you have something good, share it with your son or your daughter.
We tend to only speak out to them or at them when they do something wrong, and we rarely praise them. Is that what you mean?
Yes, and especially when it comes to our relatives. We will praise our children in front of our relatives, but in front of the concerned person, which is the child, I never say anything good to him. So what's the point of praising me behind my back?
Yeah.
At least praise me in front of, of others. I'll feel good at myself. You always blame me in front of others, but when it comes to praising, you don't praise me in front of others.
Yeah.
So that's a total contradiction.
And as well, it's part of when we praise children, we lift up or bring up their self-esteem, which is very important.
Yes, we'll come back to this point. I just wanted to add a few things after this short break.
Lulu BMW Dream Drive. This season, luxury awaits you at Lulu. Shop and win 6 BMW X5 35i and other fabulous prizes. With every purchase of 10 Riyals, get a chance to win up to 6 BMW X5 35i and 30 Icon products like 48-inch LED TVs, top-load automatic washing machines, air coolers, halogen air fryers, tablets and lots more. Shop at Lulu today and stand to drive home your dream. Promotion valid till 5th August 2015. Lulu, where the world comes to shop.
Ramadan, the time of spiritual reflection and worship, a time of patience, humility, self-discipline, and submissiveness to God. During the holy month, Radio Sultanate of Oman 90.4 FM takes you on a journey from spiritual reflection and enlightenment to family entertainment. Join us all day and all night long here on the Nation Station. Let us take you on a spiritual journey through our voice this Ramadan in Life as It Is. Explore opportunities and tranquility with the young voices of tomorrow on the Nation Station 90.4 FM from Saturday to Thursday, 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Engineer Muhammad Farouk, Janab Al Sayyida Mayya Al Said, Ahmed Al Matani, and Hatim Al Abdul Salam. Call us on 246-02058 or text us at 90406 to explore your potentials like never before. This Ramadan, here on the Nation Station.
You lift me up high, you spread my wings and fly me to the sky. I feel so alive, it's like my soul thrives in your light. But how I wish you'd be here with me all year around. Ramadan, Ramadan, Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. If you've just joined us, this is your program Life as It Is with Mayya Al Said and Hatim Al Abdul Salam. Today we are talking about parenthood, and we're having a really good discussion. If you missed that, you can now call us in and join us on our discussion on 24602-058, 24602-058. Hatem, before the break, you had a couple of things on communication that you wanted to share with us.
Yes, the thing that I wanted to mention about communication is related to the next point that I wanted to discuss, which is the role of love in raising passionate kids. So I will link the two. When was the last time we told our children that we love them?
Last night.
Okay, I wasn't asking you, I'm asking the public. Okay, so it is very important to communicate this feeling to our children. Normally they get love from east, west, south and north. Yeah, but they don't get it from the parents.
Even they might get love, but they don't know that it is love. Again, importance of communication, to actually say the words, I love you, is very important for a child.
So love is verbal and physical.
Of course.
So you can express both of them, and it really helps in raising this child in a very passionate way, so that when they grow up and they become adults and they have their own families, they would also be loving and passionate the same way you are towards them. And we have a call. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, actually, my call was dropped. I was making some points, but my call was dropped.
Unfortunately. Alhamdulillah, you're back. So tell us, what did you want to tell us?
Actually, I was telling that the way the Sister Mayya disagrees, that was in a positive way. Don't take me wrong, please.
Yeah, no.
Because
all positive. Thank you very much.
Because I was just trying to make the point, because when you disagree, it opens the topic more, and we get a different perspective of the same topic at the same time.
Alhamdulillah.
So regarding parenthood, I think this is our religious, social responsibility to train our child in a way that they be a good, useful Muslims for the society.
Yes.
And being Muslims, this is our prime responsibility. I mean, if we recite the Surah Luqman, that is the best verse. I don't remember the whole verse, but that is the best advice and best, teaching a parent can give to their children.
And just looking into it.
I want to make is regarding, you were discussing the punishment, that either we should punish or we should not punish the child. I think personally, being a parent, I think at some point, you have to set the limits. Not every time you have to punish the child, but you should set some limits that if this is the point where our child is coming, I have to punish him physically, but not in a way that he will become frustrated, but in a way that he understands that what he did was a big mistake,
so
that I shouldn't make it again.
If we ask you, Mr. Mukhtar,
this is my personal opinion, and I think at some point you have to punish your child physically.
So, Mr. Mukhtar, if I ask you,
any harm in that?
Mr. Mukhtar,
yes.
If I may ask you, what are some of the conditions that will really make you punish your child? Doing
your
what?
Voice is not clear.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, what are the conditions that will make you really punish your child physically? Things like what?
Yeah, for example, in this time there is, open media, and children they are surfing the internet. So if some children they are involved in surfing the websites which are not suitable for them, and you are teaching them that this stuff is not for you, and if still they are doing that, you have to punish the child. And similarly, if the children they are bullying the other children, they are giving bad names to other children at school, or they are fighting at school, and despite many efforts, they are not beware of that, then you have to punish. And very importantly, religiously, if the child is in an age to pray or to fast and he's not praying, I think this is also a hadith to punish the child.
Yes.
There isn't any harm in that.
Yes, but let us not forget, Brother Mukhtar, if anyone chooses to take that path of punishing, although it is there religiously in the hadith, but the Prophet, peace be upon him, himself has never punished his children. And even if you decide to punish your children, then it should not be painful or leaves a mark in such a way that
Yeah,
it hurts the
definitely.
child.
Not in
It
a
should
way
be in a
to harm
moderate
the
way.
child, but
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Brother
very much.
Mukhtar. Shukran.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.
I think one should choose, parents need to choose their battles. Choose when to punish and how to punish. You can't just punish on every single thing because you have your communication, you have your words to use just to, like, as a warning. So maybe punishment can come as the third thing. And even the way you punish, you don't, as you said, try not to be physical. There are other ways of depriving a child of something that they love, as you mentioned, Hatim,
Yes.
as means of punishment.
Which actually is very painful.
For them, yes.
For them, it's very
It's like,
painful.
please, I won't do it again.
Okay, so we've covered the role of love in raising passionate kids. Today, maybe we find people are very tough in their feelings, very tough in their character. It's due to this lack of passionate parents. It starts at a very early age when you feel that love and comfort from your parents. But you cannot turn up to be a very, very rough guy or a girl because of that. You'll always follow the footsteps of your parents. Being loving, you will also be merciful and loving towards your family. And to some extent, I would think.
Okay, I do have something to add to that, but I'd just like to remind our callers that they can join us on our program, Life as It Is. We're discussing parenthood. They can call us on 24602-058, 24602-058. With regards to that, okay, it's all well and good to say that you should be more loving and caring towards your children. You have to be there because there are some parents that are not physically there with their children, be it away from their work. And this is something that we touched upon earlier in the month when we discussed single parents, that you have to be there with your child. You have to create memories. You have to create a relationship you have to think of the future, because if you immerse yourself with your child, you create memories, then in the future when you are old and alone, they will be there for you. But if you do not invest in them now, do not expect them to invest in you later on.
Yes. We move on to the next point that says memories that are never erased from their minds.
And these could be good memories and bad memories.
And bad memories. We'll start with good ones. Yeah. So we want to capitalize on as much good memories with your children so that they remember this from you. Yeah. Even when you pass away from this world, at least they have something to remember you of.
Which is hopefully good.
I have two stories to share.
Okay.
One is positive and one is negative. And alhamdulillah, the negative one is not from my parents. The positive one is from my parents.
Alhamdulillah.
So my dad used to work for an airline company for more than 30 years, and he used to work in shifts. So most of the time he's in night shift. So when he comes back early in the morning, he brings from work the club sandwich. Yeah, and we were always keen, waiting for the time when he comes back to bring the club sandwich. So until this moment of time where I am 37 years old, whenever I go to any restaurant and I see club sandwich, I remember my warm, my loving dad. So this is something that I can never forget, and it's instilled in me and has built a bond with my dad because of the club sandwich. And the bad memory that I have is when I was about 7 or 8, or I don't remember exactly. I was really young, and normally when the bell rings at your house, kids rush to the door to open the door.
Yeah.
So I went and I opened the door, and there was one of our relatives. Of course, he was an adult. And the moment I opened the door, he did not even greet or say anything, and he slapped me so bad to an extent that I can feel the pain now.
Why?
And I could never forget this incident, and I could never learn to look at him and smile. Years have passed by. My parents they tried to comfort me and tell me that you should forget and this.
Yes.
Maybe he was going through a rough day, I don't know. But I cannot comprehend that day, and I cannot forget. Even if I choose to forget, I can't forget. So please make sure the memories that you instill in your children are the positive ones, because you will harvest the fruit of these memories when they grow up, and they will also in return have good memories with their children. It's a pity when you talk to some young people and you ask them, okay, what do you remember from your childhood? What do you remember from your dad and mom if they passed away? They say, I don't remember anything. It was all instructions, beating, and that's it. There's nothing else to remember. So it's a pity.
But maybe some parents don't know this is what they're supposed to do. They assume that their roles of parents, I think it comes back to the characteristics of good parents. Their roles of parents is to provide a roof over their head, get them to school, have food on the table. I'm done. That is my role. So I it's sad, but that's why we wanted to do a program like this, to make sure that, to make sure that they understand, or we understand, we educate ourselves on role of parenting, because much more deeper than just providing for them.
So, can we move on to the next point, Mayya?
We can.
Okay. The next point says, make them responsible. What do we mean by this?
We have a call. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, Hatem.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
How are you, brother?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. How is Ramadan with you?
Ramadan, subhanallah, is moving so fast, and we're going to miss it.
Almost over now.
Subhanallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the energy and the health to continue the few days, and also to give us life to continue next year, inshallah.
Ameen.
I hope the program will continue after Ramadan. We're going to miss it.
Well, we all hope that, but let us see how things go, inshallah.
Very interesting topic today. I think it's very important also for people to discuss this and to be aware about the facts of how to deal with the children, and how this the way we deal with our children now will have repercussions on how they will deal with their children, and so on and so forth. As you said, a lot of the memories you had, be it positive or negative, and unconsciously you're going to pass these to your kids, either in a way that is consistent with your own memories, or sometimes you take the extreme opposite of your emotion. So if you had been abused, then you might be an abuser of your children, or you might take the other extreme of being too caring to the extent that you might spoil the kids themselves. So many people don't realize that it's a chain that continues in one way or the other. So thank you for bringing this important topic.
Jazakallah khair, brother. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I wanted to just side with what Brother Mukhtar said, that some of the physical punishment is actually listed in the hadith, and as long as you consider it as physical punishment rather than physical abuse, then I don't see it being more negative than emotional punishment or any other punishment in that regard for a child. And as you said, sometimes the emotional punishment might be even more severe for some of the children.
Yes.
Now the tendency that the physical punishment is thrown upon it, and more of the modern educators, they consider it almost as a sin. And in Western countries, a child who was subjected to physical punishment can even sue his parents. I don't think that is right. We have to differentiate between punishment and abuse. Sometimes if we are not aware that we are supposed to punish, we can easily cross the line and the punishment becomes abuse. So that's my point regarding the physical punishment.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, brother,
Thank you
for feedback.
Thank you.
Just to touch on a little bit about the the punishment thing, there are three things that you should look into. The first thing, as a parent, have you played your role? Have you done your part? So many of the scholars who are talking about the hadith that talks about teaching your children to pray and then beat them when they are teach them to pray when they are 7 and beat them at the age of 10. You cannot beat them if you have not done your role. So if you have not taught them to pray, you have not made sure to supervise them and encourage them and give them incentives to pray, you cannot just come suddenly when they're 10 and beat them up that they're not praying. And you cannot also beat them up while you yourself you're not praying. So you ask yourself first, have you done your role? The second thing is, look at the kid himself. Each child has different tolerance level. So as I said, like my kids, for example, a look is more than enough. Yeah, it's like 100 canes. Other kids are tough, it doesn't work with them. You deprive them, you look at them, you shout at them, it doesn't work. Yeah, so people tend to be physical. So you have to find out what is right for that child. And the third thing, have you given your child a second chance? Or is it just punishing at any stage or any opportunity that you get? So you have to look at these elements, and you said it very well when it comes, there is a thin line between punishment and abuse. So the next point that we wanted to talk about, Mayya, which says make them responsible.
Mm-hmm. I think at a very young age we should make the children responsible, give them chores around the house, make them contribute to just being part of the family. And as well, for example, I've started a chores system at home where their children, my daughters, have to do some work and I have to reward them. And then I teach them how to manage money. For example, they know they have to give for sadaqah, and they know they have to save, and then they have to spend whatever money it is. So it is our role to teach them these kind of things, so because they're going to become adults, and it's now this time when they're young that we instill these skills in them, these qualities. So we're preparing them into adulthood. We can't just expect them to, when they're adult, and then we're surprised, okay, how come you don't know how to do this? Well, you didn't spend time with me, you didn't teach me. And these things are not really always taught in school. They are things that we have to teach them as parents at home.
Well said.
Thank you.
Next point, quality time essential.
Before that, I'd like to remind our callers to please join us on our discussion on parenthood on your program Life as It Is. Do so by calling 2460258, 2460258. Okay, the next point is?
Quality time, which is essential.
Again, we touched upon this earlier. I think it's a special bond that you create with your child. It's a relationship that you build with your child. And make sure to, if you have, mashallah, a parent of 3 or 4, make sure to give quality time to each and every child. Not just, let's go all out together. One day, just specify a time or an activity you can do just with one particular child. Make them know that you value them as a person, that they have a place in your heart. And I think that is just a special bonding time you get with your child. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. It's very... people think when you say quality time, they think of the amount of hours that you spend. You can spend 5 minutes. It's more beneficial for the child. And you have fulfilled their needs than even spending like 10 hours of useless watching TV and doing nothing. Yeah, so having that conversation with your child, listening to them, catering for their needs, and doing what they love to do. So, for example, if your child loves to paint, why don't you paint with them? Why don't you sit with them? Like my son likes wrestling, so I do wrestling with him. Yeah. That's how he has fun. That's the quality time that we have together. So each child has their own needs, and you cannot have a carbon copy of that quality time with each child.
It depends on each.
It depends on their needs.
Yes. And as well to play with them. Simple as you put it. Playing with them, we can unleash our playfulness with our children. Make them see that, okay, my dad does like to have fun and he does enjoy these kind of things. We're not just there to make sure that they do their homework, that they're dressed properly, that the bathroom is clean, whatever it is. We are there to have fun. This is the time, because they're young. When they're older, Inshallah, if we do invest our time in them, we will be able to participate in fun activities with them, even when they're older.
Okay, moving on to the next point, which is live the religion. I think I'm hungry.
I think so. Okay. So live the religion. What do we mean by that, Hatem?
I think all of us agree that we want our kids to be the best kids ever. And we want them to be better than us. We want them to be memorizers of the Quran. We want them to be religious. We want them to pray on time. We want them to know Sahih al-Bukhari. We want a lot of things. We have a long wish list. But really, have we been how do you say that? I'm losing words today.
Have we been role models?
Yes.
Have we ourselves done these things for them to know?
Yes.
And the best way for me to put it is lead by example. You want your child to pray, then they should see you praying. You want them to read Quran on a regular basis, they should see you read Quran. You can't ask them to do something when you don't do it yourself.
Yes.
And it goes into every oh God, you're not the only one who can't speak today. It goes into everything that we deal with, from the way we deal with people. If you deal with people with respect and patience, then expect the child to have similar qualities. For example, my daughter Hadil, she is known, mashallah, for always smiling when she greets people. And I think Allah has blessed her with this beautiful soul. But as well, I think it's something that she's seen me do. So you have to lead by example and to make sure to greet people and all these little things.
Yes. Moving on to the next point, hard work pays off. You can. We just wanted to remind our listeners before going to this point that they can call us and join us the discussion. Our number is 24602058, 24602058, and the point says hard work pays off. I think it's an investment that we have on our children. We have to put effort in raising our children. We do not expect that we will do the least, the minimum, and then expect our children to be the best. Without putting that investment, it's a formula in life. You can never be promoted if you're not hard work. You can never pass the exam in university if you have not studied. You can never be successful if you have not had a vision and worked hard to climb the ladder. So, when it comes to our kids, it's the same thing. You have to put the effort. I know it's stressful. I know you're tired. I know you're busy. I know you don't have time for your children, but you chose to be a parent. And when you chose to be the parent, that is your main role in life, to raise these children. They are under your custody. They are under your responsibility.
Yeah, I don't think that parents realize the responsibilities that they have by being parents. And as you said, it is vast, it is hard work, but it has to be done. And when you see this child grow up into an adult that you've envisioned, that inshallah, you worked so hard to bring up this child, that is when it pays off.
Yes, moving on to the next point that says your success is not their success.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Who's written this point? Okay, what I mean by that is that throughout our life, we strive in our career, in the things that we love, and we think that by we being successful, this will automatically be inherited towards our children. They will inherit that success. But actually, you're investing in yourself. You're investing in your dreams. You're investing in your fancy house, fancy car. But what about the investment in your children? So don't always associate the busy time that you spend at work, the projects that you do, that this is the success of your children. Yes, they will inherit the money from you, but it doesn't mean that they will be successful as you are. And maybe you might think that this is the success in life, but to them, the success in life is having their parents next to them, listening to them, loving them, and sharing their wonderful moments together.
I totally agree with that. But I think we're talking about investing in children and stuff. Shouldn't we also highlight what age group are we talking about when we talk about investing? Because do you think when the child is 16, if you haven't invested, now is the time to invest? Is that
Well, actually, I look at it, and from many books that I've read, you have from the age of 0 until the age of 10. That's the time when you will really impress your children, and you will create that bond. After the age of 10, they start exploring new areas. And if they find other people who are more impressing than yourself, then forget it. Then you start having this big gap between you and your children. You claim that I can't understand my children.
But what do you mean by impress? Why? What do you mean? Do I have to impress my children?
No, you don't have to impress them.
But
you look. What I mean is, by impressing them is that you being their role model. They want to become like you when they grow up.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you impress them, because they feel that you're the person that they see every single day. You show them all the good qualities. You talk to them about all the successful stories. So they don't have a reason to look for someone else while they have you. You are the answers to their prayers.
That's an eye-opener.
So if you don't play that role from the age of 0 until the age of 10, and then when they're 16, you say that, oh, my son doesn't listen to me, he's stubborn, he spends time in his room, he doesn't want to bond, you're too late.
Yeah, because you haven't put in that time at the beginning.
Yeah, that's it. That's the investment I was talking about.
Okay. Please join us. We're discussing parenting on Life as It Is on 90.4. We are here until 2:30. You can join us by calling 24602-058, 24602-058.
Okay, the next point that we have for today says never compare them with other kids.
Oh, I'm so glad we talked about this. Okay?
This is very, very common. You know, your aunt kids, your cousins are better than you. They had better marks. They are better looking. They are this, they are that. We always do this.
I know, and sometimes we do it not really to... I think we do it because we want to encourage the child, but we don't realize that we're really doing more damage than good.
Can I tell you my experience as a child? Whenever I hear this, it's an insult to me. We don't realize as parents that what we're doing is something big.
Yeah.
But to the child, it's an insult to his personality. It's an insult to his confidence. He feels that, whatever I do
is never good enough.
Is never good enough. But we fail to see as parents that the capabilities of my child might not be the same as the capabilities of the other child. And my child might have areas which are far more better than the other child, but I never recognize that.
And we only judge it from the child perspective. Why don't we be harsh enough as parents to judge it? Okay, what is that parent doing that I'm not doing? Is that parent investing more time in their child that I am? And we have a call. Salam alaikum.
Hello.
Hello, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. My name is Prasad. I just wish to share my thoughts on this program. That's why I called you.
Please do. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Yeah, you just started the topic about comparing between children.
Mm-hmm.
That's a worth topic to be discussed because this topic really, when you compare a child with another child, it demoralizes the other child.
Yes.
The child you compare. And my view on this is that we should never compare, not only a child, we should never compare anyone for anyone. We can put some examples, but we cannot compare them. This is what is my point about it.
Yes. Thank you very much, brother, for sharing that thought. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. And you're doing an excellent program. And today I've been listening to you. It was really nice to listen to it.
Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
But I think it's time for a short break. But before we go that, I just wanted to say one thing is comparing is not necessarily with other kids. It can be even with their own brothers and sisters. Your brother was a doctor. How come you turned up to be a mechanic?
Yeah, that's really bad. And not only when they're children, even now when they're adults.
Let's go for a break.
Want to win a car with all the features you ever wanted? The Geely M Grand 7 with a 1.8-litre automatic engine can be yours. Just WhatsApp your name, location and say that one thing you like the most about Geely and you could become the lucky winner to own one. Send us your reply on WhatsApp at 9440 today. Anyone could win a Geely M Grand 7 this Ramadan. Terms and conditions apply.
Lulu BMW Dream Drive. This season, luxury awaits you at Lulu. Shop and win 6 BMW X5 35i and other fabulous prizes. With every purchase of 10 Rials, get a chance to win up to 6 BMW X5 35i and 30 Icon products like 48-inch LED TVs, top-load automatic washing machines, air coolers, halogen air fryers, tablets and lots more. Shop at Lulu today and stand to drive home your dream. Promotion valid till 5th August 2015. Lulu, where the world comes to shop.
Fly Emirates to 17 destinations across the Far East and as many as 38 European destinations in our ever-expanding network. Be there for some truly inspiring experiences. To find out more, visit emirates.com/om. Fly Emirates. Hello tomorrow.
Let us take you on a spiritual journey through our voice this Ramadan in Life as It Is. Explore opportunities and tranquility with the young voices of tomorrow on the Nation Station 90.4 FM from Saturday to Thursday, 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Engineer Muhammad Farouk, Janab Al Sayyida Mayya Al Said, Ahmed Al Matani, and Hatim Al Abdussalam. Call us on 246-02058 or text us at 90406 to explore your potentials like never before. This Ramadan, here on the Nation Station.
You lift me up high, you spread my wings and fly me to the sky. I feel so alive, it's like my soul thrives in your light. But how I wish you'd be here with me all year around. Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. If you've just joined us, this is Life as It Is with Mayya Al Said and Hatim Al Abdussalam. We are talking about parenthood right up until 2:30, and you can join us on our discussion by calling 24602-058, 24602-058. So Hatim,
Yes.
where did we?
Before getting to the next point, I just wanted to tell our listeners that we are not experts in parenting.
No, we're not.
So people should not assume that we have all the answers. We are also experimenting with our children. We are also very young parents. I think my eldest daughter is not even 10.
Okay.
And Maya, the same thing. So we are not that experienced in this, but we are trying to remind ourselves and share with all of you whatever we have and whatever we have experienced in this short period as being a parent. So please bear with us and don't think we are gurus in raising children.
Which is why your feedback and your contribution to this show is valued or valuable, because we're all in this together, and only together by sharing knowledge can we become, inshallah, better parents.
And that's why we disagree with Maya most of the time, or agree. Then that's part of life. That everyone has his own perspective, own experiences with his own child. So I wouldn't have an identical experience with my children the same way with Maya. She would have a different experience. So by talking about it, by sharing these different points of view, then we get to learn and evaluate ourselves. Are we on the right track or not? The next point says a parent and a friend at the same time.
I think this is a very thin line. Again, I think the role of discipline comes into hand, because you want to be a firm parent, but you also want to be a friend, somebody they feel comfortable with, which is why when disciplining, you have to be very careful that you don't lose that confidence, that comfort that they have to come to you to talk to you about anything.
I would share my experience when it comes to this, but I think we have a call. Do we have a call? Yes.
I think we do.
Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum.
Parents, they have
Salam alaikum.
wheelchairs.
Salam alaikum.
No,
Okay, we lost the call. So, I was talking about having the parent to be your friend at the same time. I was raised in a family that there was no much physical punishment, and we were raised to be friends with our parents, and most of the time we abstained from doing or committing a mistake because we didn't want to disappoint our friends who are our
Your
parents.
friends?
Our friends, our parents,
Okay.
who at the same time, we had that respect with them because we felt that it's so cool to be around them, to be as their friends, to go out with them. So we didn't want to break that relationship that we had as friends.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we respected them as our parents. And this merely comes when parents get married at an early age and they grow up with their children. So if the age difference is huge between the parent and the child, sometimes it is difficult to get this relationship of friendship.
Okay.
And maybe we have an episode that we are going to talk about during this week, which is about getting married early.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any experiences
With regards to this?
to friendship.
To friendship, well, as you said, I'm a young parent. I'm still learning. And I think I agree with you to a certain extent that getting married young and having your children as well at a young age, you become aware of what's happening around the society. So you kind of know, and you're not like a dinosaur that you have no idea.
You speak the same language with your children.
Exactly. So there are things that you can relate to. And I imagine if the age gap was huge, then it will be very difficult to find things to relate to.
Yes. Can we move on to the next point?
We can. Just remind our callers that we are here until 2:30. They can call us on 24602-058, 24602-058. And when you do call us, please make sure that the radio is off and you just listen to us via your mobile phone or telephone.
Okay, the next point says, help them choose their path in life and not imitate your path.
Not only imitate our path, the path that we want them to be on. I want my child to be a doctor, but maybe the child does not want to be a doctor.
There are two things involved in this. The first thing is that we want what is best for our children.
Yes.
Thinking that the choice that we choose for them is the best choice for them. The second thing is that maybe we wanted to take that choice in our lives and we were not able to achieve it.
Yep.
So we see the achievement through our children.
Yes.
Which might be okay, but might not be suitable
for the
child. So walk with them towards this path. Guide them. So if you see them going towards a particular interest when they're growing up, give them more information about that interest. Let them know more about that. Make it easy for them to make the right decisions in their life. Yeah.
And now we're living our life that we want people to be entrepreneurs. We want people or children or adults to stand on their own 2 feet, not necessarily go for a government or a private job. So, and only that happens when you have passion. You don't open a business or whatever just for the sake of money. There is an underlying passion that makes you think about it day and night. And this starts at a very young age.
Yes. Moving on to the next point, which says what we carry forward from the past and what we let go.
Okay, care to elaborate on that, Hatim?
Yeah, I have no idea what it means, but okay, let me give it a try. It means that we were raised in a particular way in the past by our parents, by our grandparents, and now you have the modern way of raising the children. Most of the time people are confused. They say, should I raise them the old way? Yeah, the old-fashioned way, or should I look at modern methods? And I would say, why can't you do both?
And I would say, why do we even have to choose between old and new? Choose the right way, the way that suits you and your family, and of course that fits in within our practices of our religion.
What is very common in our families, Mayya, is that our grandparents were telling our parents, you don't know how to raise your kids.
It still happens.
And our
today.
parents are telling us, we don't know how to raise our kids. And we will tell our kids, you don't know how to raise your kids.
Because
the cycle goes on.
But we have to realize that all these generations that you've talked about happen at a certain specific or a certain amount, certain time. And everything was different then. So when your grandparents raised your parents, it's different to how we are now raising our kids.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what should we do?
Don't ask me that question.
I think when it comes to raising your children, there is a mixture of lots of things. First of all, you have the upbringing that you were raised on, and then you have the upbringing of your wife, and then you have the modern way, which you might not agree with your wife. Sometimes you want to be hard, your wife wants to be soft.
Good
Sometimes
cop,
the
bad
other
cop.
way around. So there should be a balance between all of this, so that the child is not caught in the middle in this dilemma. You know, at the end of the day, the child comes to you and says, "So Dad, do I watch TV or I don't watch TV? Because you tell me not to watch TV. Mom says I can watch TV. So make up your mind, you guys, discuss your issues and then come and tell me." So you don't want that day to come.
Of course not, but that's, again, it goes back to the good characteristics of good parents, which you said that a couple should do before they have children. So, you know, when that happens, you have to kind of look deep and say, okay, where's this coming from? Why shouldn't he watch TV at this time? And then again, two parents should decide, because you don't want that scenario happening.
Yes. Of course, and then you have the relatives. So you would be raising them in a particular way, and then they go to their relative's house. There's another method that is being followed there, and then they come back home with this new method, and then you try to, you know, convince them that that's not the right way, and they'll ask you why, while my cousins are doing the same thing. So it's a long experimental cycle that never ends.
Again, communication plays a role. I think, as you said, where you explain to them why it doesn't happen, why it happens there and not here. Once they understand, they can then implement.
And they're actually smart. They understand. But we treat them as babies.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't give them the benefit of the doubt that they are very well intellect. And you can communicate and talk to them in such a way that they would understand the message and they would follow your footsteps. Okay,
just again to remind our callers, we have less than 15 minutes to go on the show. So if you'd like to join us on our discussion, do so by calling 24602-058, 24602-058. So the next point is?
The next point is spoiled kids. What can we say about that?
Again, I blame the parents. We seem to be talking a lot about discipline. But when we talk about spoiled kids means they have their own way. They know what buttons to press, and the parents fall for it, and the kids have their way, and then the child happens to be 18 and does whatever they want to do and does not listen to the parents, and that is lack of discipline.
If I may ask you, give us a definition of a spoiled kid. How does a spoiled kid act? What do they do?
For example, I can't really just put on the spot here, but one I can reflect on myself is I've always taught my children to say hello. And there are times when they're young, they just don't want, they're not in the mood. I still ask them, I'm sorry, you have to say hello. And I'd force them to say hello. And it's only a hello. They don't, to shake hands with the adult in front of them. And if I didn't teach them that, if they didn't know that this is how it's done when you greet somebody you like, you don't like, you feel like it, you don't feel like it, this part of saying hello is how we greet each other. They will grow up not greeting people. And so you say this is a spoiled child because this child does whatever this child wants to do. So
what you're trying to say that you have to practice some sort of authority.
Yes.
To show them who's the boss. Yeah, and
some certain extent.
And that there is a particular order in the house that has to be followed. Yes?
Not only in the house, again, it falls into how we interact with people, and, it's a bigger picture, not only focusing on what happens in the house.
Okay. Very well. The next thing that we need to talk about is the bedroom effect.
This is the first time I've heard of it, so I'll let you talk about it.
I think throughout our lives we live in a house, and the entire house belongs to the whole family, but the only place where it is really the territory of the child is his bedroom or her bedroom. So how much important is that bedroom to the child? So it starts off when you are trying to design that bedroom. Do you take the consent of the child? Do you ask them for the colors that they like? Do you choose the things that makes them happy in the bedroom? And do you spend time in that bedroom with them? Because to the child, the house belongs to you, yeah? And throughout the day, I'm in your territory. But what about my territory? Sometimes I want to spend time in my bedroom, yeah, as a child. So I would love my parents to be with me also in my bedroom.
Okay.
We'll play, we'll talk, we'll discuss things.
Sorry, just interrupt. When you say the house is the territory of the parents, I bet
in the eyes of the child.
But then it shouldn't be like that, because the house is our house. It's not just my house and this is your room and your room only. Everything, the way we design our house, should make the child feel comfortable no matter where they are, not just only the bedroom.
When we grew up, if anyone asks us, whose house is this? We say Baba's house. We don't even say Mama. Mom is not even included. It's Baba's house. So to a child, they believe that only their bedroom, and we make it that way because we tell them that, did you clean your bedroom? Did you make sure the lights are off? It's all about their bedroom. So we associate the responsibility to the bedroom. So to them, their territory is the bedroom.
Again, different upbringing. Earlier on in the show, I said I make my children do chores around the house. So they have to, in the kitchen. So everywhere, it's not only confined to their bedroom, to make them feel that whatever house we live in, this is a joint thing that we have to do together to make it proper, to make it clean.
Do you allow them to make decisions in the house? Like, for example, I want a Winnie the Pooh sticker in the living room.
Of course.
Would they have that? They only have that in their room because it belongs to them, because it is their territory. I want the walls to be pink. Would you have your living room painted pink because your child says, okay, this is our house? Yeah, you'll end up saying that, no, this is Baba's house. Sorry, I will not have pink living room in the house.
I agree to some sort of extent, but my only comment was when you said that the house is the territory of the parent and the child is confined to their room. Yes, the child should have some authority to their whatever they want in their room. However, they should also feel welcome in their own home.
Okay, let us agree on something.
Okay, let us agree.
The next house that we build, okay, will have an open layout, office style. Okay, no bedrooms. The CEO and the employees are all under one roof. That way we'll solve this discussion and we'll carry on with the program. The next point says the balance between love and discipline. Yeah?
Love and discipline.
Yes.
Okay.
We love our kids so much to the extent that we feel that we cannot tell them when they're wrong. Yeah? Or we discipline, we are very obsessed with discipline and we forget to love them.
So it's either
it's a thin line.
Heavy on one end.
Yes.
So it's not balanced.
Yes.
Again, it goes back to being spoiled.
Being spoiled?
No.
It's the fault of?
The parents.
Okay.
So, okay, go ahead.
Being spoiled is giving them too much love, giving them too much attention,
it means there's no balance.
But I'm talking about the two, either way.
Okay.
So either you're very, like a general in the house, you want discipline, and or you're very loving, very romantic with your children, and sorry, don't shout to them. Please say excuse me to them because you'll hurt their feelings. So you have to have that, balance between them. When you want to wear the dad hat, then you are the dad. You are the person in charge. When you want to be, a silly kid like them, then you are the silly kid like them, and you play around and you fool around and.
Okay, so what is the point? So
balance.
Yes, of course you have to strike a balance with everything.
So how do you get the balance?
No, that was what I meant. What did you mean by this? How do you get the balance? I think you just have to pick and choose your battles and create some sort of structure maybe in your life with the children.
I've noticed many families, they try to solve this problem by agreeing between the both parents. So for example, if the dad is hard and harsh, at that moment the mother will be loving and comforting. If the mother is harsh and hard, and then the dad will be loving and comfort. So you don't have both parents loving at the same time or both parents being very tough at the same time. So the child feels that, okay, I have both, the taste of both.
And what I like about what you just said is you said that at times, so it's not always known that the father is the dictatorial and the authoritative thing, and the mother is just like the caring and the loving. That even in that, between the parents, the roles should be balanced as well.
I think it's important many times when your child comes to you and asks, can I go out now?
Ask your dad.
Yeah, go and ask your dad. Yeah, because he's in charge of that area of responsibility.
Yeah.
So you delegate the authority from one couple to another. That is important. So they feel that, no, it's not only on the shoulder of one person. So if dad is not around,
exactly.
So it means I can go to the neighbor's house because dad is not around.
Yes. And mom, you can't make a decision because dad is not around. We have very little time on our show. If you do want to contribute, make sure you do so by calling 246020058, 246020058. This is Life as It Is with me, Mayya Al Said, and Hatim Al Abd Salam.
Okay, the next point says making choices. Yeah.
Okay. What sort of choices?
At a very early stage of life, I think we need to train our children to make the choices by themselves.
Yes.
Yeah? Sometimes we have these very stringent rules towards our children. For example, in Eid, you have to wear white. But the child says, okay, can I experience, brown? No, everyone wears white. So you have to... So at least sometimes you can, if something which is not really dramatic, which will not cause a scene, what's wrong if the boy wears a brownish dasha on the day of the Eid instead of white? Nobody will will say anything. Nobody, especially if they are 3, they are 4 years old, they're 5. Yeah. It doesn't make a difference, yeah. But if the child wants to make that decision, respect that choice.
And as well, it's part of them becoming adults, or facilitating that phase into their life, that when they're adults, they'll have to make decisions. So if they're not used to making decisions when they're young, it'll be very difficult for them to make decisions when they're older.
And you can train them towards this by consulting them. So for example, if the dad will go to the showroom with the son, and then he already knows what he wants to buy, but he'll ask the child, okay, do you think I should take a black car or a red car? And the son will say, no, but a black car looks better on you. And then you say, okay, but the red looks more flashy. Then
you have a debate.
You have a debate, you have a discussion, but the child feels that you are consulting them, you're taking their opinion, and you're respecting them, and you're not just saying no, I'm not going to take the black one, it's not good. No, you discuss with them, and you agree on some grounds.
Yeah, that's very valid, and I think it's some things that parents lack doing. They just make the child think for themselves. No, that they dictate what they want and the child just have to follow. They have no choice.
So what is the future? The future? Future, I think I'm hungry. What is the future image that you have for your children? If I may ask you, Mayya. Yeah? What is the image that you have for your children after, let's say, 10 years?
They grow up to be responsible adults, caring adults that fit into society, that they represent Islam the best way. I have 2 girls, so the best way they can. And Islam is not only something that you are, that is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is also in the way you treat others and the way you make them feel. So I hope that I manage to give that message to my children, inshallah.
Why I'm asking you this question is that each parent today have to have this vision for their children. They have to know what they want their children to be when they grow up.
Yes.
If they have this vision, they will have a plan to work towards that vision. But if you say that I want my child to grow up and to be a man and to work and to get married, and those are general things. Those are things that are there with everyone.
Yes.
So you have to be very specific of what do you want in your child.
Because then there's this famous quote, planning to fail is failing to plan. Did I say it right?
Yeah, I think so.
Planning to fail, failing to plan. So if you don't plan well, and maybe it didn't cross your mind before to plan what you would want for your child. So this, we hope that this opens that door and that idea that you have to plan how you want this child to be, because then you will manage to give them the skills or whatever they need, the support to be that person. And if you fail to do so, then don't expect your child to be extraordinary because you did not envision that from the beginning.
Yes. The next point that I wanted to talk about is that when to say, I don't know. Many parents, when you have inquisitive children, they come and ask you a question, and you're ashamed to say that you don't know.
Why would one be ashamed? Because we are not born knowing everything. So I'm not ashamed. I say, you know what, sweetie, I'm sorry, I don't know, but let's find out together.
Okay, that's you, but I think many people, they don't say that I don't know.
Well, okay.
So you don't say you don't know, so either you choose, you ignore them, or you just pretend that, give them any bluffing answer.
My question, Hatem, why would somebody say they don't know when they don't know?
Ego. Simple, ego. How will it look like if I show my child that I don't know?
It doesn't matter.
It does happen. That's why I'm asking you. It does happen.
I understand, but this also shows that, okay, my parent doesn't know anything, doesn't make them less of a parent, and doesn't make them, يطيح من عيني مثلا, and I don't see, my parent doesn't know, how can he be my parent? It doesn't, I can't see that concept of ego coming into this. I know you're right, and it does happen. However, but this also goes to show that as a child, we don't, it shows the perspective that, okay, he doesn't know, it's okay. Or there are some things I don't know. That's why I ask, and we can look into it together.
Do parents sometimes feel threatened by the intelligence of their children?
Of course they do, especially with technology.
Okay, we're done with time. So I would like to remind our listeners that tomorrow we have another show, which is Qualification versus Experience with Mr. Ahmed Al-Matani. So please don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 1 o'clock on your show Life as It Is.
And I'd also like to remind our callers that if you want to listen to this again or any of our previous shows, we have a Facebook page, Life as It Is, and we also have a YouTube channel, Life as It Is, where these episodes are uploaded daily so you can share. Thank you so much for tuning in. From me, Mayya Al Said, and Hatem Abdel Salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Never think of change. Be the change. Thank you for being a part of this amazing journey. Life as it is. Here on the Nation Station, Radio Sultan of Oman, 90.4 FM.